ಐಡಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅವರು ಓಕೆ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇವಾಗ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So okay, I'll pick up some important topics. First one is related to UNESCO. So there is something called UNESCO's Memory of the World Register ಅಂತ ಒಂದಿದೆ ಏನು UNESCO's Memory of the World UNESCO's what Memory of the World Register. Okay, so the news is recently Bhagavad Gita, the manuscripts of Bhagavad Gita and Natya Shastra and few others have been inscribed in that list. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯುನೆಸ್ಕೋಸ್ ಮೆಮರಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಆ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾಟ್ಯಶಾಸ್ತ್ರನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಈ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಹೆರಿಟೇಜ್ ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಸೊ ಅದೇ ತರ ಇದು ಯುನೆಸ್ಕೋ ಅಂಡರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ it comes as a different list. Okay, so it is related to memory of the world register. What does it mean? We will discuss about it. So UNESCO's Memory of World, this is a program which was started in 1992 to preserve the documentary heritage. For example, Bhagavad Gita is a manuscript. Is it not a documentary heritage? Right? So thousands of year old document, right? So there are in the world, there are so many important texts which are related to the religion and which hold some universal value. For example, you must be knowing in this particular context, Natya Shastra and Bhagavad Gita. Natya Shastra ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಹೇಳಿ ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ ನಾಟ್ಯ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಅಂತ? So we'll discuss about these two documents. Before that, in brief, I'll tell you Natya Shastra, it is a documentary heritage, okay? So which has elements of dance, okay, acting, performance, music, etc. Okay, and we also have ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಯಾವುದು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತಾ. Okay, so even Bhagavad Gita has been added in this list. Are you getting some idea what is this? So for exam, you should carry this one or two words like this is a list maintained by UNESCO and it documents those documents which have some universal value and some elements of some principles which guide the humanity. Okay, so they recognize documentary heritage that has influenced human civilization. Only documents, okay, like important textbooks and all. So please write down this one line. What is this UNESCO's Memory of the World Register? So this is a program started by UNESCO in 1992. First of all, UNESCO's Memory of the World Register. It's a program launched by UNESCO in which year? 1992. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ? To preserve documentary heritage. Okay, the phrase that you must remember is what? Documentary heritage. Okay, for example, World Heritage Sites ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, UNESCO ಅವರು ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. That aims to preserve monuments, important monuments, right? Here, UNESCO aims to preserve documentary heritage, like important books, important texts which have universal values and which have influenced human civilization. So in Bardre, which aims to preserve documentary heritage of outstanding universal value. Documentary heritage of outstanding universal value. which have influenced human civilization. Which have influenced human civilization. Okay. This one line is enough to understand what is this UNESCO's Memory of the World Register, and it was started in 1992. Okay, mainly documentaries like historical texts, manuscripts, and other archives. So what does it include? Historical. It includes preservation of historical texts, manuscripts, and other archives. Okay, so here we have a current news is that recently the Bhagavad Gita, manuscript of Bhagavad Gita and Natya Shastra, both these are India's ancient documentaries, have been added to this list of this UNESCO's Memory of the World Register. Okay, so talking about Bhagavad Gita, you know that it is part of Mahabharata. Okay, some details if you want about Bhagavad Gita, I can tell you this is part of Bhagavad Gita. There are different parvas in Mahabharata. In that, Bhagavad Gita is written in Bhisma Parva of Mahabharata. Which Parva? Bhisma Parva of Mahabharata, from chapter number 23 to chapter number 40. Okay. Bhagavad Gita, the sacred book for Hindus, right? It is part of Mahabharata epic, right? It's part of Mahabharata epic. In the Bhisma Parva of Mahabharata epic, from chapter number 23. Chapter number 23 to chapter number 40. Okay. So this Bhagavad Gita is a text basically written. It is the result of a conversation between two individuals, the Lord Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna. Yes. So it's the result of dialogue between which two individuals? Lord Krishna and Arjuna. Okay. During the battle of Kurukshetra. Okay. During the battle of Kurukshetra, whatever the conversation that had happened between Lord Krishna and Arjuna has been documented in Bhagavad Gita. Okay. But it has been compiled and brought in the form of text in 2nd century and first century and 2nd century BC. Okay, so whatever the document that we see in the form of text, okay, these manuscripts have been written in 1st century BC, not during the war. Okay, so whatever the conversation earlier, it was there in the form of oral explanations only. Oral explanation matra ittu. Okay, manuscriptal written format irlilla. Written format bandidde yavaga 1st century BC. Okay, you can say 2nd and 1st century BC. So are you writing down these points, important points? It's basically dialogue between, tell me, dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, and has been brought in written format, or it has been composed. Okay, or you can say it has been composed in 2nd and 1st century BC. 2nd and 1st century BC. It has 18 chapters. Bhagavad Gita has how many chapters? 18 chapters. So chapters 23 to 40. Total, how many chapters? 18 chapters. And it contains 700 verses. 700 verses. 700 verses and 18 chapters. And all these verses and chapters, are considered to be essential and important for living a meaningful and purposeful life. Okay. So they mainly in what is the content, what is the theme of these verses? What is the theme? They deal about how to lead a meaningful life, how to lead a purposeful life, how to bring meaning to life. Okay. So such things have been talked about in the Bhagavad Gita. Have you got some idea about Bhagavad Gita? This is enough for exams. Next, Natya Shastra also has been added in the same list. Okay. What is the name of that list? ಹೇಳಿ ಮತ್ತೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಹೇಳಿ. List ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? UNESCO's Memory of the World Program. Memory of the World Program. See, World Heritage Sites are very common. Okay. So UPSC, if they wants to, if UPSC wants to, frame some new different questions, okay, it can ask such questions. Okay. Yes, Natya Shastra. Okay. So Natya Shastra, what is it about? Natya Shastra, what is it about? It deals about, and who has written it? This is not written but codified. Earlier there was oral tradition. Earlier there was something called Natya Veda. ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಿದ್ರು? Natya Veda. Okay. And there were also Gandharva Veda, Natya Veda, like that. Okay. So, but this Natya Veda and Gandharva Veda, they were there even before the composition of Natya Shastra. But earlier they were in oral form. Okay. It had been continued as oral tradition. There was no written composition of Natya Shastra. Even before the composition of Natya Shastra, okay, these arts of dance and music were there in the form of Natya Veda and Gandharva Veda. Okay. So later on, in 2nd century BC, okay, Bharata Muni has written Natya Shastra in Sanskrit. Okay. In which language? Sanskrit. So both Bhagavad Gita and Natya Shastra are composed in which language? Sanskrit only. Okay. So are you getting me? So what is this? Next, what does this Natya Shastra deal about? Bhagavad Gita is considered to be a guide for living a meaningful life, right? Whereas Natya Shastra deals with what kind of aspects? It deals about Natya. That means dance, right? And not only dance, it also has elements of Abhinaya. Abhinaya andra performance. Okay. And it also has aspects of feelings, that is bhava, and also music, sangeeta. So Natya Shastra is a composition or a book. It deals about all these elements, not only about dance, but also about the acting, performance, the feeling, music, etc. Okay, this book deals about these aspects. So what are the points that you have to remember about Natya Shastra? Really, what do you remember about these points? First of all, Natya Shastra is composed by, codified by Bharata Muni. Okay. In this time period, 2nd century BC. Okay. Which language? In Sanskrit. And what are the aspects it deals with? It has element of, really, come on, everyone. Okay, first of all, yeah, you can say Natya. Okay, it has element of Natya. Natya under, dance. Then Abhinaya, performance. Basically acting, like performance. Bhava, feeling, right? Also, rasa. Rasa means here emotion, and also about music. So music is Sangeeta here. Yeah, Sangeeta. So these are the elements this text contains. Okay. So essentially, you know that it has essential elements of Natya Veda. You can write down that also. It has essential elements of Natya Veda. Earlier, there was Natya Veda, which was just an oral tradition, which was only an oral tradition. Natya Veda or Gandharva Veda. Gandharva Veda. So what is this UNESCO? So we have discussed the current affairs part, okay, and some historical points related to that current affairs. What is UNESCO? One or like few points about UNESCO. Do you have some idea about UNESCO? What is the full form at least? UNESCO full form ಏನು ಹೇಳಿ? UN ಅಂದ್ರೆ United
United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization.
ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಹೇಳಿ. United Nations
Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization.
Yes, UNESCO ಅಂದ್ರೆ United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. You know that this is one of the specialized agencies of United Nations. Okay. United Nations ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 17 to 18 specialized agencies ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ for the matters of education, scientific and cultural organizations, we have for the matters of education, science and culture, we have a specialized organization in United Nations, that is UNESCO. It's a specialized agency of United Nations. Okay. So this was constituted in 1945. Okay. So at the same time when United Nations also was established. United Nations established ಆಗಿದ್ದು 1945 ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Okay. Same year UNESCO had also been established. Okay. So its major objective is to promote international collaboration in these fields, in the field of education, science and culture. Okay. So promotion of this education, science and culture is the major objective. Okay. So for that it functions as a organization which brings collaboration among nations. Okay. So next, some factual point, where is the headquarters of UNESCO located? Headquarters. Should it be New York or Hague or Paris? Are you sure? Yes, Paris. Headquarters of UNESCO is in Paris. Okay. It has 195 members. Okay. It has 195 members. It publishes reports like Global Education Monitoring Report. You can write on, you can make running notes for this UNESCO, or else you would be reading all of this in your as part of your basics concepts. Okay. While studying about this international relations subject, you would come across this. But if you want running notes, you can make it simple points like full form and major objective and headquarters and reports published. Two of the important reports are Gender Parity Index and Global Education Monitoring Expert. Two of the important reports released by UNESCO are Global Education Monitoring Report, Global Education Monitoring Report, and Gender Parity Index. Gender Parity Index. So, okay. So with this, we have completed some of the important points related to UNESCO and this particular program called Memory of the World Heritage Program. So I'll pick up another important topic for today. So let me talk something about BrahMos missile. So this was given in newspapers for the reason that India has dispatched second batch of batteries of BrahMos missile system to Philippines. So India is supplying batteries of BrahMos missile, because India is exporting BrahMos missiles to different countries, and one of the important countries it has exported, one of the few countries India has exported BrahMos missile is Philippines. So recently, India has also supplied the Philippines with second batches of batteries for BrahMos missile. So in this context, we can take a leaf out of it and discuss the BrahMos missile itself. Okay. So what is this BrahMos missile? Have you ever come across this? BrahMos missile. Huh? Have you come across this BrahMos missile? ಕೇಳೇ ಇಲ್ವಾ? What is missile? Missile ಅಂದ್ರೆ idea ಇದೆಯಾ? Tell me. Just like rocket used in defense. Okay. It can be either used to attack the enemies or to defend from enemies. Like if there is an incoming missile, you can intercept it using these missiles. Okay. And or else you can attack. Okay. You can launch nuclear weapons also using these missiles. So there are basically two types of missiles: ballistic missiles and cruise missiles. So these things we'll discuss in our science and tech part when we will be starting with defense chapter. But I'll just give a brief explanation of both of these. So BrahMos is a type of cruise missile. BrahMos is a type of cruise missile. So there are basically two types of missiles, which are the ballistic missile and the cruise missile. So BrahMos missile falls under which category? Just now, just 15 seconds back, I told you. Where were you? BrahMos is which type of missile? Cruise missile. Now I got to know when I talk, only few things you capture, remaining you will ignore. Huh? Are you not following actively? So BrahMos is a cruise missile. Okay. What is the difference? What is the difference? Anybody? Online students who have attended classes earlier, you can also tell me whatever the understanding that you have about cruise missiles. Online students, none of you know what is cruise missile?
Sir, when we fire the
Fire
missile,
and forget.
no, that is ballistic. Cruise andre target na ಹುಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಹೊಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. Like we will be having the control of the missile.
Okay, yes. It is self-propelled and guided missile. What do you say? Cruise missile andre? Self-propelled and guided. What? Like? Airplane. Aeroplane tarana? Not like aeroplane. It is cruising ಮಾಡೋದು. Cruising vehicles ಗೊತ್ತಾ ನಿಮಗೆ? Bikes ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಾರೆ, cruise bikes ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. What does it mean? See, I'll give you a picture of this. Ballistic missile will be like this. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. Ballistic missile ಹೆಂಗ್ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ? ಹಿಂಗೆ. Ballistic missile, just understand, okay? Don't worry about explanations. Just understand what ballistic missile is. Ballistic missile will be launched to the upper atmosphere. Okay. It will go to the space. Okay. As soon as the target area is reached, it will just fall back under gravity. It will just fall down under gravity. Okay. So once launched, you cannot control it. If you have launched it, that's okay. Once you launch it, you cannot take it back or it cannot change the direction. Understand this? These are ballistic missiles where the missile has been launched to the space, and as soon as the target area is reached, it has been, it would be falling down and attack the target area. Cruise missiles, as opposition to this, cruise missiles would be flying at low level, illa fly like that. Okay, so they would not reach the outer space and all. Okay, So they would be flying at low heights. Okay, very close to the surface of the earth. Very close to the surface of the earth. And they're guided. They're guided means they're navigated, they're controlled. Okay, so there can be automatic control within this missile, or we can can be controlled by the controllers. Understanding? So whereas ballistic missiles once launched cannot be controlled. Right? Cruise missiles flow at low levels and they are guided. They're self-propelled. They're guided basically. Okay. So it can be directions also we can change. And which one is more dangerous? See, cruise missiles generally do not have long range. Range kadme irutte. Just like 500 kilometer, 1000 kilometer maximum anta kadme distance all attack madangidre, we can use cruise missiles. Okay. Ballistic missiles are basically launched to attack over longer distances. Okay. And also nuclear bombs cell hakangidre, generally they use ballistic missiles. Okay. And cruise missiles basically can also be used as interceptors. Interceptors andre as in a way of defense. When enemy missiles are attacking us, okay, these cruise missiles can intercept it and protect us. Onthara defensive wall ತರ ಇದನ್ನ use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Have you got some basic differences between cruise missiles and ballistic missiles? Okay. And stealth is higher in cruise missiles. Stealth ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕತ್ತಿ ಮುಚ್ಚಿ ಹೋಗೋದು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ enemy radars ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋ ತರ. ಇದನ್ನ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಡಿಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಬಟ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಡಿಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅರ್ತ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕರಡ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅರ್ಥ. ನೀವು ಲೋ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಫ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ರಡಾರ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸಡನ್ ಹತ್ರ ಬಂದಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಕ್ರೂಸ್ ಮಿಸೈಲ್ಸ್. ವೆರಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಮಿಸೈಲ್ ಈ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಡಿಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಡಾರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಹೈಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Are you getting me? So these are some basics idea you should have about cruise missiles and ballistic missiles. So which category of missile is BrahMos missile? It's a cruise missile. Okay. So BrahMos missile is a cruise missile and it has been developed by BrahMos missile is developed by India and Russia. Okay, it's a joint project. It's a jointly developed by. Write down few points about BrahMos missile. It is jointly developed by India and Russia. Its range is short, just 290 kilometers. Range just ಇದೆ 290 kilometers. Okay. And ನೋಡಿ BrahMos ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they have picked up one important river from India and one important river from Russia. So which are those rivers?
Brahmaputra and Moscow.
Yes. So from India side ಯಾವ river? Brahmaputra. And from Russia side Moscow. So they have combined these two rivers names and gave this name BrahMos. Okay, so they have given this name BrahMos. Its range is just 290 kilometers. Okay, 290 kilometers, but it is effective. See, it is basically an interceptor. Interceptor andre attack ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? Enemy range means how long it can be. They have extended it to I think 400 kilometers, 450 kilometers. Yeah, they have extended it. I think the missile that has been extended has been inducted or not. It has not been inducted yet, I guess. Induct ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. So currently the range should be more than 290. They have developed next version of this. Initial range, yeah, when they have inducted it for the first time, its range was 290 kilometers. Later, its range has been extended to around 400 or 450 kilometers. Okay, and this is a cruise missile, and it's basically interceptor. Interceptor ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿ? ಎನಿಮಿ ಮಿಸೈಲ್ಸ್ ನ ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಡಿಫೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಮೇಜರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಸೂಪರ್ ಸಾನಿಕ್ ಮಿಸೈಲ್. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನ್ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಸೂಪರ್ ಸಾನಿಕ್. ಸೊ ಮಿಸೈಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇರ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೂಪರ್ ಸಾನಿಕ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೌಂಡ್. ಓಕೆ, sound waves. Okay, if any missile is traveling at the speed of sound, it is sonic missile. Okay, if its speed is more than speed, it is if it is multiple times if the speed of the missile is multiple times that of the speed of sound, it is called supersonic. Okay, if the speed is less than speed of the sound, it's called subsonic. Okay, so this supersonic missile, its speed is 2.8 Mach. 2.8 Mach andre 2.8 times more than the speed of sound. 2.8 times more than, nearly 3 times faster than the speed of the sound. So few point about this BrahMos missile. It has been jointly developed by India and Russia. It's a cruise missile. Okay, its initial range was 290 kilometers. I think now they're extending it to more than 400 kilometers. That you will get to know. These points you have written down. And it's a cruise. It's a point barkondre. It's a supersonic missile. It's a supersonic missile. Another few points you need to remember about BrahMos missiles is it can be launched from all the launch pads. Like it can be launched from land, sea, as well as air. Okay, it can be launched from land, sea, and air. Andre, so generally land ಮೇಲಿಂದ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಸಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ಮರೀನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಸಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ಮರೀನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಅಂಡ್ ಏರ್ ಇಂದ ಕೂಡ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಫೈಟರ್ ಜೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ, ಏರ್ ಕ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಕೂಡ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಓಕೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸುಖೋಯ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಏರ್ ಕ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ರಷ್ಯಾದ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮೋಸ್ ಮಿಸೈಲ್ ನ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, it has, so this is also very important point. It has it can be launched from land, sea, and air. And this missile has 2 stages. This missile has 2 stages. So there will be this payload in bomb placement or whatever it is. Payload will be here, and 2 stages, 1 and 2. First stage is solid. And second stage is liquid. Second stage is liquid. So it also operates on fire and forget principle. Fire and forget. The reason it's called fire and forget is, fire and forget ante ene karitare idanna. Generally fire and forget ಈ phrase ballistic missiles use ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? Because ballistic missiles cannot be controlled once you launch it. Ballistic missile once launch ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it's difficult to control it or guide it. Whereas BrahMos missile can also be called fire and forget. The reason is it is self-propelled. It is guided. It has its own navigation system. So it is self-propelled. So once you launch it, it will navigate on its own. ನೀವು ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಯುವಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಗೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. Okay, so it is self-guided ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Self-guided. That is why it is called fire and forget. It will look after its path like that. Okay, these are important points that you have discussed about BrahMos missile. Is it clear, all of you? Have you understood? So in this particular discussion, we have also discussed some of the basic points. Like you have understood, there are 2 types of missiles: ballistic missiles and cruise missiles. You have got some basic idea of cruise missiles. One of the important examples for cruise missile is our BrahMos missile, and many details of BrahMos missiles you have learned, right? Next, I'll pick up one more topic. So we were discussing this Aryabhatta, right, in science and Aryabhatta satellite. So India's first satellite yavadu? Aryabhatta. It was launched in which year? 1975. So, and we are in 2025. So it's been 50 years since the launch of Aryabhatta satellite. Just have a look at it. Okay, we will not discuss much about it. You know that it has been launched from Russia using this ಯಾವ ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಮೋಸ್ 3M ಕಾಸ್ಮೋಸ್ 3M ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಬರ್ಸಿದ್ನಲ್ವಾ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So this is like 1 minute, 1 point, a few points about Aryabhatta satellite. Okay. So because it has been 50 years, UPSC might ask such questions. Okay. So Aryabhatta is the India's first satellite. India's first satellite. Okay. India's first satellite launched in 1975. So it has been 50 years now. And it has been launched from Russia. It has been launched from Russia from earlier USSR. Earlier it used to be called, when it was being launched, it used to be called USSR or Soviet Union. From Volgograd launch station. This was the launch station there in Russia. Volgograd launch station using rocket or launch vehicle Cosmos 3M. Which is the first satellite launched from India? Rohini, one. Yes. Which is the first rocket which has been launched from India? My question is, which is the first rocket which has been launched from India?
Nike Apache.
Nike Apache, which is the name of the rocket which has been launched from India. Nike Apache, but it is not India's missile. It is US missile. Okay. But launched from India in 1963. Okay. 1963. From earlier, the launching station was not Sriharikota. Earlier, the launching station was Tumba Equatorial Rocket Launching Station near Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. That was the first launching station of India. Okay. And this Aryabhatta satellite was built by ISRO to conduct experiments in X-ray astronomy. Aryabhatta ಏನಕ್ಕೆ launch ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು? ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂತ payloads ಇದ್ವು? To conduct X-ray astronomy. And solar physics. So purpose of Aryabhatta satellite was to study was to conduct experiments in X-ray astronomy. Okay, how many topics have you completed now? 3. Okay, till now. So I'll pick up one more topic. There is this particular language which is in use called Coke Borok. What is the name of this language? Coke Borok. Coke Borok is a language spoken in the state of Tripura. State of which state? Tripura. ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡದ ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಪರಿಷದ್ ಅಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಆ ತರ ಕೋಕ್ ಬೋರಕ್ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಪರಿಷದ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಕೋಕ್ ಬೋರಕ್ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಪರಿಷದ್, ದಿಸ್ community who speak Coke Borok have demanded that this Coke Borok language should be included in 8th schedule. There is a demand that this language should be included in 8th schedule. So 8th schedule is a schedule in Indian Constitution. Okay. So we have 12 schedules. How many schedules in your Indian constitutions? 12 schedules. Okay. Otherly 8th schedule deals about what? The languages, the scheduled languages. Okay. Scheduled languages ಬಗ್ಗೆ deal ಮಾಡುವಂತ schedule ಯಾವುದು ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? 8th schedule. Okay, so let us discuss something about this Coke Borok. Kokborok is the language spoken by Borok people. The Borok people, geographically, they are concentrated in the state of Tripura. Okay. In Tripura, there are particular community, tribal community. The name of that community is what? But this is Borok people means not just one tribal group, but there are multiple tribal groups. Together, they are called Borok people. Basically, Borok people means the people of Tripura. Borok andra artha hai na? Yeah, like that people of Tripura. So this Gok Borok is spoken by Borok people of Tripura. So it is spoken by different tribal groups like Riang anta kelidira Tripuradalli. Riang anta hesaru kelidira. Tripuris. Okay. Riang, Rupini. Need not write down all of them, but these are the tribal groups which speak this language. They're Rupini, Murasing, Noashia, Jamathia, Riang. So these are the different tribal groups which speak this language, which are geographically concentrated in Tripura. This is one of the state languages of Tripura. Kokborok is a state language of Tripura. Okay. And it belongs to family, which language family? There is Sino-Tibetan language family. Your language family belong agtave? Sino-Tibetan language family. Sino-Tibetan language family. Okay. And ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಯುನೆಸ್ಕೋ ಒಂದು ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಯುನೆಸ್ಕೋಸ್ ಅಟ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್ ಇನ್ ಡೇಂಜರ್. There is a list maintained by UNESCO that is called UNESCO's Atlas of World's Languages in Danger. World ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ಗಳು ಎಂತೆಂತ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಡೇಂಜರ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ the languages are also getting extinct. You know that, right? There are many languages which are getting extinct. So UNESCO has a list of these endangered languages. Okay, this Kokborok falls within that category. Okay, so that means the number of people who are speaking Kokborok language is declining. So there is a threat that in near future it will get extinct. Okay, so you should know that also. So this is some basic information about Kokborok language. For your exams, they might just simply ask you Kokborok, the state they can ask you, and belongs to Sino-Tibetan family. These are the points they can ask you, and they are spoken by some tribal groups like Riang, Jamatia, Noashio. Okay, that's all. These are the points you should remember. The news is that I have told you, right? This Kokborok Sahitya Parishad has demanded that they are wanting this Kokborok language to be included in 8th schedule. Okay. So 8th schedule alli idana add madbeku anta demand ide. Okay. So can you tell me how many languages are there in 8th schedule right now? How many languages are there in 8th schedule? Mainly they have asked questions. This year they're asking so many questions on 8th schedule. In different exams they're asking. UPSC also, I think in 2024 paper it has asked one question on 8th schedule. How many languages are there in 8th schedule? Online students. Exactly. 22 languages are there. Okay. So can you name all of them? So they're asking amendments. There were only 14. Later, rest of the 8 were added later on. First amendment there was this 21st amendment. So by means of 21st amendment, they have added one language. Which language they've added by means of 21st amendment? Sindhi language they've added. And again, 71st Constitutional Amendment Act. With this, they've added few more languages, which include, to my memory, I can remember Manipuri. I'm not sure. Maithili was there. Bodo. And Dogri. And Santali. These are the languages added by means of 71st. These are the questions they were asking. And also again, by means of 92nd Amendment Act. Let me check.
92nd amendment is Maithili Bodo.
This 71st ಇಂದ ಯಾವ್ದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಇದು?
Wrong sir. 71.
ಏನೇನಿದಾವೆ ಹೇಳಿ?
Sir ಅದು NMK ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೊಂಕಣಿ, ಮಣಿಪುರಿ.
Oh, these are the language added by
71st amendment.
okay, let me check it. So you know that yeah, 71st ಇಂದ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಯಾವ್ದು? ಸೊ ಬೋಡೋ, ಡೋಗ್ರಿ, ಮೈಥಾಲಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೈಂಥಾಲಿ, ಸಾರಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ. 92nd ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, 92nd ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಕೊಂಕಣಿ, ಮಣಿಪುರಿ is there, not ಮೈಥಾಲಿ, right? Let me clear it. This is getting complex. 71st Amendment Act ಇಂದ ಕೊಂಕಣಿ, ಮಣಿಪುರಿ ಅಂಡ್ ನೇಪಾಳಿ ಎಷ್ಟು? ಯಾವ್ದು? ಕೊಂಕಣಿ, ಮಣಿಪುರಿ ಅಂಡ್ ನೇಪಾಳಿ. 92nd ಇಂದ ಬೋಡೋ, ಡೋಗ್ರಿ, ಮೈಥಿಲಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೈಂಥಾಲಿ. ಬೋಡೋ, ಡೋಗ್ರಿ, ಸಂತಾಲಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೈಥಿಲಿ. This is correct, but in amendment ಅನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 92nd ಇಂದ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, 71st Amendment Act ಇಂದ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಸ್ ಯಾವುದು? ಕೊಂಕಣಿ, ಮಣಿಪುರಿ ಅಂಡ್ ನೇಪಾಳಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇದು, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, ಥರ್ಡ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, 3 ಸರಿ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ದೇರ್ ವರ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಲೇಟರ್ ಆಡ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So earlier 8. Earlier there was 14. So which are those earlier 14s? Guess ಮಾಡಿ. ಕನ್ನಡ, ತೆಲುಗು, ತಮಿಳ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಡಿಯಾ. ಉರ್ದು, ಮರಾಠಿ, ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರಿ, ಕೊಂಕಣಿ, ಗುಜರಾತಿ. ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ವೈಸ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಸ್ಸಾಮೀಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ವೈಸ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೆನಪಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬೆಂಗಾಲಿ, ಗುಜರಾತಿ, ಪಂಜಾಬಿ, ಸಾಂಸ್ಕ್ರಿಟ್, Urdu. These are okay. You can just go and check the list. So these have been later added. So we have completed these 4 topics today. Let me give you one small topic, man. Okay, 5 topics agutte. There is some islands which are in use. The name of that island is Scarborough of Shoal. Okay, in Pacific, South China Sea anta barutte. Kelidira South China Sea. ಚೈನಾ ಸೌತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸಿ ಇದೆ, ಅದರ ಹೆಸರು ಸೌತ್ ಚೈನಾ ಸಿ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್ ಸಿ. ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಚೈನಾ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ನೇಬರಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಫಿಲಿಪೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿಯೆಟ್ನಾಂ, ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಂಡೋನೇಷಿಯಾ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಮ್ ಅದರ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್. So these islands are always in use. Okay, so they can ask you, it's in use for many years now. So currently there is one island but we will see other islands also which are generally in use in the South China Sea. Scarborough Shoal, Paracel Islands, in South China Sea map. If you search, you will get it. Okay, we just have to do this mapping work here. So this map, any map we can take and just look at it. Yes. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Just look at the map, nothing else. Okay, so So these are the countries here. I will show you. This is China. Okay. And this is Vietnam, Cambodia, this Laos, and such other countries are here. Myanmar in the ikada, east of India. Okay. Myanmar gotalva. Myanmar pakdali we have Laos, here Cambodia, and here is Vietnam. Okay. So these are the countries. You can see Vietnam. And south ali we have Malaysia and Indonesia. This. Okay. There is this island called Borneo Island. And under this, there are some countries like Malaysia, Indonesia. And this is Philippines. Philippines. Okay. And there is this Taiwan. Okay. Taiwan, it has a lot of issues with China. China considers Taiwan as its own part. Okay. Yes. So this is the setup you can see, geographical setup. And this sea south of China, surrounded by these countries, is called South China Sea. This sea is part of Pacific Ocean. It's not part of Indian Ocean. It's part of Pacific Ocean. So this is situated south of China and west of Pacific Ocean. So it's in West Pacific Ocean. It's in West Pacific Oceans. Okay. So this sea has many resources. Okay. Like oil and fish, basically. Fish resources, oil resources, and some other resources are in abundance in this sea. Okay. So that is why the China wants to have control over this entire sea. China wants to have control over this entire sea. Okay. So it is building artificial islands here. It is building artificial islands here. Okay. So there is one rule that once a particular island becomes part of a country, the surrounding water also become part of that country. Correct? Huh? So China has artificially built many islands here and claimed that this sea is ours. Okay. So there are so many such places. So for that, it has drawn a line here. You can see this line. The line ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆಯಾ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಈ line ಗೆ 9 dash line ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. So in exams they can specifically ask you about 9 dash line. What is 9 dash line ಅಂದ್ರೆ? This is the line drawn by which country? China in South China Sea. Okay. To claim that whatever the territory within this area comes, it's part of China. Okay. So for that it has drawn this line. You can see this line is passing through countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, and this Indonesia, and mainly Philippines, right? So that's why these countries are at kind of war situations with each other. Okay. So among them, there are few islands which are highly contested. Not all islands. There are few islands which are constantly in news. Okay. So in exams, they can ask you simply like the location of these islands. Like for example, there is Scarborough Shoal. Okay. Scarborough Shoal. Where is this? It's near to Philippines. Okay. Scarborough Shoal is disputed between which two countries? And you can say China and Philippines. Okay. And also some other countries. Mainly, Scarborough Shoal is disputed between China and Philippines. Okay. And then the Sparkly Islands. Okay. Sparkly Islands. This is also constantly in use. Scarborough Shoal, Sparkly Islands. And this is important. Paracel Islands with Vietnam, basically. Okay. At least these three islands you must remember. Just remember these three for now. Okay. ನೆನಪಿರುತ್ತವೆ ಮೂರು ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್ ಐಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಕಾರ್ಬೋರೋ ಸ್ಪ್ರಾಟ್ಲಿ and Paracel. Okay, we have completed these topics. Tell me in 1 minute, tell me what are the things that you have discussed today. Your topic discussed fast again. We had started with UNESCO's. What is that? UNESCO's, what is that register called? Memory of the World Register, right? Memory of the World Register, UNESCO's. So UNESCO again discuss ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ light ಆಗಿ. UNESCO is a special agency of United Nations established in 1945, and its major objective is to bring international collaboration for the promotion of education, culture, and science, right? And some of the important reports it releases adu nodidre, then its headquarters is in Paris, France. And related to this particular list called Memory of the World Heritage, this is a program started by UNESCO in 1992, right? It basically enlists documents which have historical importance and which are important for humanity, right? Which guide human civilizations, right? So currently, these two texts from India have been added in this list, which are the Bhagavad Gita and Natya Shastra. So the details of Bhagavad Gita and Natya Shastra also we have discussed. Hopefully you'll remember them. Okay. Next, second topic that we had taken up was about BrahMos missiles. Okay. So in that particular context, currently India has supplied these BrahMos missiles, and second batch of batteries have been supplied to Philippines. Okay. This is like short news. So taking advantage of this news, we have discussed about the cruise missiles and ballistic missiles, right? You know the differences between, at least you have got some idea, right? So cruise missile and BrahMos missile falls under the category of cruise missile, correct? So it has a range of 290 kilometers. It's a supersonic missile. It's a two-staged missile, which can be launched from land, sea, as well as air. Okay. It's basically a defense or interceptor missile. Okay. Its range also has been increasing. Okay. Other points. So these are the things that we have discussed as part of BrahMos missiles. Okay. It is jointly developed by India and Russia. Next. What is that language? Kokroborok. Kokborok or Kokborok, right? Yeah. It's a language spoken in Tripura. Okay. By Borok community. By communities like Noasia, this Riang, and some other communities. Okay. Mainly in Tripura. And they're demanding for this language to be included in 8th schedule. Okay. 8th schedule language also we have discussed. Okay. Added by many languages which have been added by means of amendments. So after this, we have discussed about Aryabhatta, this satellite. It's 50th year of the launch of Aryabhatta, which was the first satellite launch. Which is the first India's first satellite. Okay, this is basically launched from Russia using Cosmos 3M launch vehicle. Next, we have discussed some of the islands from South China Sea which are disputed in this 9-dash line. South China Sea, a disputed area. Among these countries, you can remember, together you can have Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Vietnam, Taiwan, all these countries are one side, China is on one side. Okay, so you know that. Some of the important islands include Scarborough Shoal, Spratly Islands, and Parashar Islands. You know that China is building artificial islands there and claiming that this entire South China Sea within this 9-dash line is part of it. Okay, so hopefully you'll remember these topics. See you tomorrow. Thank you.